Section: Introduction. In this section, we focus on keeping our models updated with the latest knowledge that emerges constantly. Model editing is essential for us as it allows us to modify and update the facts stored within a model. There are two main types of model editing methods: those that add information in context and those that modify the parameters of the underlying model. Various techniques have been proposed in the past to address this issue. One approach involves identifying knowledge-containing neurons in a model using integrated gradients and then modifying these neurons to edit the facts in the model. However, this method becomes less efficient as the size of the model increases. Another method involves training a model that generates the new weights for the model being edited. While these methods have been improved to scale with the size of the edited model, they still require training additional editing models for each source model being edited. Some methods focus on adding the most relevant updated knowledge in context. However, in this paper, we concentrate on parameter-modifying model editing methods. Our goal is to find methods that can insert new knowledge into the model weights and are universally applicable to any model. This objective requires a better understanding of how knowledge is stored in large language models, LLMs, and aims to make these models more interpretable. The most promising model editing methods that universally modify model weights are Rank 1 model editing and mass editing memory in Transformer. These methods directly update specific parts of the model without the need to train additional models and can be applied to any Transformer-based LLM. Mass editing memory in Transformer is the only existing non-based parameter-modifying model editing method that allows for batched edits. We introduce a unifying conceptual framework for these methods and show that they optimize the same objective, which we call the preservation-memorization objective of model editing. This objective focuses on injecting or memorizing new knowledge while preserving certain vector representations during the editing process. We demonstrate that these methods optimize different versions of this objective, leading to different editing capabilities. Furthermore, we highlight the importance of edit distribution algorithms in model editing. While some methods optimize a more relaxed objective, the effectiveness of the editing process often relies on these edit distribution algorithms. By separating these algorithms from the optimization objectives, we show that they are universally applicable. Our experiments reveal that the edit distribution algorithm of mass editing memory in Transformer is beneficial for editing large batches in certain models but can hinder performance in others. We advocate for further research into these algorithms as separate entities from the optimization objectives. Finally, we present a closed-form solution for making batched edits with the preservation-memorization objective in the form of EMMET, an equality-constrained mass model editing algorithm for Transformers. EMMET allows for batched editing under an equality constraint, aiming for more accurate editing of memories. While EMMET performs similarly to mass editing memory in Transformer for small batch sizes, it struggles with larger batch sizes. Nonetheless, it can still be useful for sequential model editing with smaller batch sizes. Section Summary. In this section, we explore the importance of keeping models updated with the latest knowledge through model editing, which involves modifying stored facts or updating incorrect information within a model. Model editing methods can be categorized into those that add information in context and those that modify the parameters of the underlying model. We focus on parameter-modifying model editing methods, aiming to insert new knowledge into model weights universally across any large language model, LLM, with promising techniques like Rank 1 model editing and mass editing memory in Transformer showing potential for efficient and effective model editing. Section: Preservation-memorization, a unifying framework for ROME and MEMIT. In this section, we reintroduce both ROME and MEMIT in a new light, a unifying conceptual framework of the preservation-memorization objective. We use W to represent the weights of a feed-forward layer in a transformer that we want to edit to change existing knowledge. The key vector K represents a fact we are either editing or preserving, and it is the input vector to W during model editing. The weights of an intermediate layer of the model are changed from W_0 to #W. Here, K_0 is a key vector representing facts we want to keep from the original model, and k_e are key vectors representing facts we want to add to the model. We aim for the output at the edited layer to be v_e when the input is k_e, ensuring that the correct fact is recalled by the model when generating text. Our goal is to preserve the representations of selected input vectors before and after editing, minimizing the error between w_0 k_0 and hat w k_0, while also ensuring that the output representation of the vector k_e is versus _e, essentially memorizing the fact represented by k_e, v_e. This process is illustrated in a diagram. The objective of model editing can be formulated in two ways. In ROME style, the objective is optimized by preserving representations of selected vectors in k_0 and enforcing memorization of the fact represented by k_e, v_e, using an equality constraint. On the other hand, MEMIT optimizes a relaxed version of the same objective by minimizing the least square error between the output representations of vectors in k_e and their target representations v_e. The key difference between ROME and MEMIT lies in how they handle the memorization part of the objective. ROME uses an equality constraint, while MEMIT uses a least square objective. This difference allows MEMIT to find a closed-form solution for making edits to the model in a single update. In both ROME and MEMIT, the preservation-memorization (PM) objective of model editing is realized, with ROME enforcing memorization using an equality constraint and MEMIT using a least square objective. The least square constraint in MEMIT enables batch updates to be efficiently handled with a closed-form solution. Section Summary. In this section, we introduce a new conceptual framework called preservation-memorization, which unifies the ROME and MEMIT model editing methods. These methods focus on editing the weights of a transformer's feed-forward layer to modify memories, with ROME allowing singular edits and MEMIT enabling multiple memory edits simultaneously. The preservation-memorization objective aims to retain existing knowledge by preserving selected input vectors' representations while memorizing new facts, with ROME enforcing memorization through an equality constraint and MEMIT using a least square objective for batch updates. Section: Edit Distribution Algorithms. In this section, we will discuss the edit distribution algorithms. We will explain how the edits are distributed into multiple layers using a specific formula. This distribution method has been crucial for achieving success with large batch sizes. The formula used is quite similar to a known equation with some minor adjustments. In this formula, we use delta_L to represent the weight changes at a particular layer L. The variable v_L_e equals v_e denotes the fact being edited at the final edit layer L. The rest of the variables like k_e and c_0 are calculated at the layer L being edited. When n equals 1, the formula simplifies to a specific equation. This algorithm, known as the edit distribution algorithm, is applied after finding solutions to the PM objective. We aim to separate the edit distribution algorithm from the objectives and show that they can be used independently. We compare the performance of single-layer edits using ROME and MEMIT with both objectives. We focus on making edits to only one layer without distributing them across multiple layers. Since batched edits are not allowed in this scenario, we evaluate models based on singular edits. We test three different models: GPT-2XL, GPT-J, and Llama 2-7B, on a set of 1K examples from the counterfact dataset. The results are detailed in table. We observe that both objectives perform equally well for singular edits without the need for distributing edits across multiple layers. Next, we explore the impact of edit distribution algorithms. We find that when making singular edits, the edit distribution algorithms do not provide significant benefits. However, when making batched edits, especially with larger batch sizes, the edit distribution algorithms become crucial. We evaluate the performance of batched edits using a function of batch size on the counterfact dataset. The results, shown in figure, indicate that editing just a single layer becomes less effective as the batch size increases. Therefore, editing multiple layers within a model becomes necessary, highlighting the importance of edit distribution algorithms. In our experiments, we notice that GPT-J performs exceptionally well. However, when applying the edit distribution algorithm to Llama 2-7B, we observe a decrease in model editing performance. This suggests that the edit distribution algorithm may not always improve editing outcomes and should be used judiciously. Our findings emphasize the need for further research into edit distribution algorithms to enhance model editing processes. Section Summary. In this section, we compare the performance of making singular edits using the ROME and MEMIT objectives without utilizing edit distribution algorithms. We find that both objectives perform equally well for singular edits without the need to distribute edits across multiple layers. When evaluating batched edits, we observe that as batch size increases, editing just one layer becomes less effective, highlighting the importance of edit distribution algorithms, especially for larger batch sizes. This emphasizes the significance of edit distribution algorithms in enhancing model editing performance, particularly as batch sizes grow, showcasing the need for further research in this area. Section. Introducing EMMET. In this section, we introduce EMMET. We have previously discussed two algorithms, and both aim to optimize the preservation-memorization objective in model editing. Uses an equality constraint for memorization, while uses a least square objective. The least square objective allows for batched editing with a closed-form solution, unlike which only allows editing one fact at a time. This leads us to the question: can we perform batched editing under an equality constraint for memorization? We provide a closed-form solution for batched editing with equality constraints under the preservation-memorization objective in this section. This introduces a batched version of, named EMMET, equality-constrained mass model editing in a transformer. To derive this solution, we start by defining key vectors that need to be preserved and key vectors for facts we want to edit simultaneously. The preservation-memorization objective aims to find new weights for a weight matrix that ensures both preservation of representations and memorization of new facts through an equality constraint. The solution involves using Lagrange multipliers to solve the system of equations derived from the objective. By incorporating the equality constraint, we can update the models with new edits using the update equation for EMMET. This equation modifies the residual by performing matrix operations, allowing for batched edits under equality constraints for memorization. EMMET unifies and under the preservation-memorization objective, enabling batched edits with equality constraints similar to least square-based memorization. While the invertibility of certain matrices cannot be guaranteed, in practice, they are usually invertible for smaller batch sizes. Moving on to batch editing with EMMET, we conduct experiments on various models with different batch sizes. Comparisons between EMMET and when editing a single layer show competitive performance up to a batch size of 256. However, performance starts to decline for larger batch sizes, possibly due to the strong equality constraint in EMMET. We find that EMMET can be a viable option for large-scale model editing with sequential editing using smaller batch sizes within its competency range. We make EMMET available to the research community for further exploration in large-scale model editing. Additionally, we compare the performance of EMMET when editing multiple layers using an edit distribution algorithm, showing varying results across different models.